area awaits the winner of this matchup. Next to Kevin Egan, I'm Dan Kelly. So good to have you with us. Chicago Fire try to return to their winning ways, and already a little history between these two teams. Orlando City has the confidence of coming here a short time ago and winning at the Fire's home park.
Yeah, but the first time Orlando City came to Toyota Park, it was just 2 years ago at this very same stage in the US Open Cup quarterfinal, and it was the Chicago Fire. It was 1-1 at the beginning of the second half, and then the Fire routed Orlando. Chris Rolfe scored twice in that day, Mike McGee, Joe Limper, and a great goal from Patrick Nyako, who's in the starting 11 tonight for the Fire. But then recently, like you mentioned, June 6th, it was Orlando. 2 goals in the space of 8 minutes that just devastated the Fire, late on, winning by 3-2.
A few changes for Orlando. They've been in a little bit of a rut recently. They dropped 2 straight, missing Kaká when 1 game was suspension. But what changes has Adrian Heath done with his starting 11?
Well, it's a very similar team to the team that beat Chicago here. Luke Bowden is in the team on the left-hand side of the back 4. In the centre, pairing Seb Hines alongside Sean St. Ledger. Rafa Ramos, very attack-minded, talented right back. And then you have Christian Higuita and Darwin Seren in the centre of midfield. Both those guys were very impressive here, also on June 6th. And Kyle Larin is up front with Kaká underneath.
And for the Chicago Fire, no David Accam. He will begin the festivities on the bench. David Accam, as he took a slight little knock in that road match most recently versus the Columbus Crew. But a big night for Jason Johnson.
Huge night for Jason Johnson. He'd be devastated being sent off in a very harsh manner against Columbus Crew. In the starting team and playing underneath him is Sean Maloney. Delighted to see Sean Maloney back in the starting lineup. Back playing football really for the first time. For the first time since the US Open Cup game against Louisville.
A guy who's played a lot of football recently, Joe Jones. 4 matches in his last 11 days participating with TNT and Gold Cup play. So it'll be interesting to see how fatigued Jobin has been, because when Jobin Jones has been on, he's been the Fire's best player this year.
Yeah, it was a joy to see him do so well for Trinidad and Tobago. I was at Soldier Field when he scored that marvellous goal against Guatemala and really terrorised their right fullback on the day.
Trying to return to the promised land. biggest challenges this evening facing Kaká and Orlando?
Well, they'll be delighted that they came here not so long ago and got that win. One of the keys for them on that day, Dan, was Rafa Ramos, I thought. Every single time, whether it was David Akam or Harry Shipp on that side, if they tucked inside and didn't do their due diligence on their defensive side of things, Rafa Ramos was wonderful going forward. And Luke Bowden, who picks his moments rather carefully compared to Ramos to go forward. As we see here, the Chicago Fire starting lineup. John Bush, surprisingly enough, gets the nod in the starting lineup tonight ahead of Sean Johnson, who's been on very good form of late. Matt Polster will stay at right back like we saw against Columbus away. Eric Gehrig alongside Addy Elton. Welcome back to Jovan Jones at left back. And then in midfield, Patrick Nyako on the right, Harry Shipp on the left, Watson alongside Coach Eash in the middle. And delighted to see Sean Maloney back wearing number 10 for the Chicago Fire underneath Jason Johnson.
It was a nightmarish performance for Addy Elton last time facing this Orlando City side, so hopefully he seeks a little redemption this evening. This is a look at Adrian Heath's first choice 11.
Yeah, Adrian Heath has to be so careful, only being able to play and feature 5 guys not with national status here in the United States. So Seb Hines, partner Sean St. Ledger in front of Tally Hall, Luke Bowden on the left, Rafa Ramos on the right, and then very reliable pair in Christian Higuita and Darwin Serran in centre midfield. Ribeiro and Avila on the flanks, and Kaká underneath the Canadian international, the man who scored the last day. These teams featured here, Kyle Larin.
And it was John Bush between the sticks the last time these two teams met. A little bit of a surprise. Frankie Allop goes back with John Bush with the congested schedule. He'll try to stop Kaká in Orlando City. So nice to see the wee magician back out on the pitch. The sturdy Scot, Sean Maloney. Kaká and Ribeiro in Orlando City in their white shirts on the road, opening up play. First touches on the ball for the Fire, dislodged by Nyako. As Watson switching over to Harry Shipp. Creating energy down the left side like he has. A welcome return for Jovan Jones, back from Gold Cup duty. Pushed wide by Watson. Patrick Nyako into the area as Jason Johnson awaits that ball.
It was impeccable control from Jason Johnson, and this is the matchup you want to see if you're the Chicago Fire. Patrick Nyako in a 1v1 battle against Luke Bowden, and already nice and early you see the return of Jovan Jones as well, tearing forward on the left hand side. With all due respect to Patrick Doody and also Greg Cochran, you just don't see that same pace and creativity from those players. Great to have Jovan Jones back.
And it's nice to have Patrick Nyako. He wasn't available last time these teams met in June. Maloney off the corner. His service is nice to have back as well. Comes in for a second closer look. Just lost control and almost lost possession, but in the end helps earn another corner.
And Orlando, just outside of your picture, keeping Chicago very honest indeed. Kaká and also Avila playing very high up the field, meaning that Jovan Jones, Matt Watson and also Matt Polster are being forced to stay all the way back.
Nice ball by Maloney. Gehrig was nearest. As Kaká and Watson race after it. It's the experienced keeper, Tally Hall, in charge of that Orlando goal. Is this Orlando City side trying to become the first expansion side since Seattle and the second since Chicago in 1998 to win a trophy in their first year? First year in MLS, not their first year in existence. Is the 2015 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup quarterfinal. Trying to go keeper to keeper. Patrick Nyako, the intervention! Just in time! Patrick Nyako make it 1-0 Chicago Fire.
How about the instincts from Patrick Nyako? At the other end of the pitch, Addy Elton goes back to congratulate John Bush. Jason Johnson left it. The defence stood still, and Patrick Nyako with a clinical finish and puts the Chicago Fire up nice and early. What a start.
Ever since his return from injury, it's like he's not been away at all. Full form right away for Nyako.
And Adrian Heath will be absolutely furious with the static nature of both Seb Hines and also Sean St. Ledger. Luke Bowden didn't do them any favours either, as Patrick Nyako tucked in from the right hand side. A shocking goal to concede, but excellent anticipation from Nyako. How many times do you see an assist for the goalkeeper?
Two men who know each other well, John Bush and Patrick Nyako. Frank Yallop saying this afternoon he just wants his team to compete hard and fight.
And 2 years ago, when these teams met at this stage, that was the furthest Orlando City has ever gone in this competition. It was a 5-1 win for Chicago, and it was a splendid goal in the second half from Patrick Nyako, an individual effort.
Is Bowden. Visions there of connecting with Pedro Ribeiro. And the confidence has been fragile recently for the Fire. So nice to get that early strike.
And it was a great strike when you consider that ball, the way it was coming down, the pressure Patrick Nyako was under at the time. I thought he did really well just to hit that in the half volley, nice and low, and give Tally Hall no chance. You know, you don't want to sound like a broken record, but the Fire, the key is about being ruthless. If you take those advantages, like the team had against Orlando in that Major League Soccer meeting, it's about being ruthless.
Sean St. Ledger's switch is regathered by Harry Shipp. Maloney over for Shipp. Nice to see this duo. Harry Shipp from far away, bounding wide of Tally Hall's goal.
And a little clap from Sean Maloney, who found that space between the lines. It's exactly where Chicago need to try and find their designated player. I still believe Chicago has yet to see the very best out of Sean Maloney, even though I think he's done better than a lot of people seem to give him credit for.
Kochish couldn't make the connection. It's Jovan Jones. We mentioned he's played a lot of soccer recently. Interesting that Frank Yallop keeps faith and keeps Harry Shipp in the starting 11. He's looked a little tired. Perhaps he'll be reinvigorated with the return of Sean Maloney.
And look at the position right now of Rafa Ramos, playing right fullback. There he goes. And Harry Shipp tucks in. That's where you really need Jovan Jones on his game. And when Ramos turns the ball over in those areas, obviously the Fire have to be clinical too, trying to hurt Orlando. But you're right, Harry Shipp, we've seen much better performances from Harry Shipp than we've seen over the past few games. But when the Fire start to get fully healthy,
it's Kaká. This is Laren. First build up, and now looking for the attack here, Orlando. As Luke Bowden. They're denied by Patrick Nyako, and Section 8 likes the work rate of the Ghanaian here early.
Yeah, and that looked slightly obvious from our angle. The referee obviously didn't see it. Luke Bowden, after Nyako had made the tackle, came in, studs up. Yeah, you might call it accidental, but it's still stamped on the right leg of Patrick Nyako.
Just happens that it's always Patrick Nyako on the end of these type of confrontations.
I think Patrick Nyako will be okay. I don't think it's anything from first glance to do with the ACL injury. Obviously he was out for so long. It looked more like the right leg of Luke Bowden just followed through with the studs on Patrick Nyako's right leg, and that's a sore one.
Not putting much weight right now on that right leg. Defensive work from Jason Johnson. If you're just joining us, quarterfinal action, the Chicago Fire in Orlando City. It was John Bush, the goal kick that connects with Patrick Nyako for the opening strike that has the Chicago Fire leading 1-0. Higuita, his recent good play, pushed out Akugo and kind of made him expendable. The acquisition of Carrasco for Akugo, going to Sporting Kansas City, a Monday trade for this Orlando side, now readying for a free kick. Kaká stands over the ball here in minute number 10. Nearest for Orlando was Ribeiro. There's Patrick Nyako back on the field. Edvin Jurasevich, the man in the middle for this duel here in Bridgeview, Illinois. It's Matt Watson, the midfielder partnership here with Razvan Kocic. This is Bowden. He had a good game last time these two teams met. The left back position, wearing number 14 for Orlando City. Havula makes himself available. Ship wins it back. Little stumble there by Jason Johnson, so he couldn't latch onto it.
And it was excellent defensive work from Harry Ship to anticipate that run from Rafa Ramos that forced the interception. And like you said, just a little stumble from Jason Johnson. Otherwise, he was in on goal.
Still early, but Harry Ship looking a little fresher. What do you think about the position switch for Matt Polster?
Yeah, I thought it was originally quite odd, given that Matt Polster is the type of guy who is so effective in that holding midfield area, loves to be that playmaker, take the ball from the central defenders and make something happen. But he's such a good kid, he's such a good attitude. He can play anywhere, and just watch how he'll love to get forward, like we see.
Nyako opens things up. Polster back for Maloney underneath it, but chances opening up once again.
And the man you just mentioned, Matt Polster, did very well. And the ball just bounces up right as Sean Maloney was about to strike that.
A reminder, you can follow U.S. Soccer's coverage of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup on Twitter at Open Cup. USsoccer.com is your source for full coverage of the 2015 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Bowden the save along the near touchline.
The success of the Chicago Fire down over the years in the Open Cup has been well documented. But one thing to note is it's a record 12th appearance in an Open Cup quarterfinal. Chicago Fire breaking that record, and the Fire have never lost a quarterfinal. 11-0-1 all time.
23-1-1 in Open Cup games played in the state of Illinois. And this is a crucial homestand for the men in red. After tonight, New England and Dallas next at home as well. For Orlando City, they got NYCFC this weekend. Harry Shipp just wide of the goal. Second crack by Shipp in this match.
And that's encouraging for Harry Shipp. Outstanding effort. Didn't even lift the head. Just knew exactly where the goal was. And from the reaction of Tally Hall, you could tell it was very close.
Already they've taken 5 shots towards Orlando City's goal, 1 on target. Things have been pretty quiet around John Bush so far. Navigating his way through the midfield, Sean Maloney.
And just moments before that, you saw the work that Razvan Kocic puts in for this team. It often goes unnoticed. Right place, the right time. He was told by the coaches earlier in the season, just focus on playing centre midfield. Don't try and get too far forward. Don't be dragged out of position. Dominate the centre of the field. And I think he really has done a nice job recently of that. Yes, the results haven't been going the way of the Fire, but quietly he's gone about his business and patrolled that area of the field very well.
Looking to counter, Higuita. This is Avila. Jovan Jones just takes it away from Kaká. Jones getting faster behind the ball, draws a free kick from a dangerous spot, and the first caution is shown in this game.
You just smile and shake your head. He glides. He's nearly quicker with the ball at his feet than without. Jovan Jones taken down in a very dangerous area. Now 2 players discussing this. Harry Shipp, Sean Maloney. Shipp, I think, just says, that's yours. Gives Maloney a little tap on the shoulder.
It's Ramos, who was shown the yellow card here in the 16th minute.
And he has a strange technique, Sean Maloney, when taking these. As we see Jones belting forward once more. Maloney just stabs at the ball. Just tries to touch it over the wall. Deceives the goalkeeper. You saw him score. I saw him score against Petr Cech for Chelsea and against, I think it was Chesney for Arsenal.
He can strike that
Years
dipping
ago.
ball that is a handful to deal with for keepers.
Just needs to beat the tallest player.
And he beats it, but not Tally Hall. So from David Accam territory, Sean Maloney almost makes it a 2-goal lead.
Connection was perfect. Direction not too far away. Comfortable save in the end for Tally Hall.
Maloney from the corner. Third corner of the match, but there to snatch it, Tally Hall. Few dicey moments out of the back. It's Luke Bowden, the presence down the left side. Sarin floats it into the middle. Higuita, helped over by Avila. Cross coming, directed just wide of the goal. It was Ribeiro there getting ahead to it.
Orlando possessed the ball very well. Their passing is effective, it's crisp, and when they get the ball across to the on-rushing Rafa Ramos, it's inviting danger. In the end, Adi Elton just got a touch on that and it deflects out for a corner.
Dropped in by Kaká. John Bush teetered on that line. Keeps it out.
And
foul in the area.
You could see that the ball just held up in the wind. It was a lofting cross from Kaká. And John Bush did very well just to keep that ball from drifting in. In the end, the referee calls it. I think sometimes in the game of soccer, it's easy for referees to call those ones. I've often felt down through the years that it's the easy decision to make. Just give the free out. You won't face any controversy. And I'm not too sure I saw a foul on that one.
Goal kicks have proved to be fruitful so far this evening for John Bush. Harry Shipp searching for it. Making the turn in the midfield is Kyle Larin, the Canadian. Havula comes down for Kaká, can't get the shot through. Razvan Kocic.
Yeah, well done, Matt Watson. Adi Elton has to give that a welly up the field. Needs to be a much better connection. But it's funny because when you look at this one, it's the two fullbacks, I think, that are having the biggest impact when they move forward, and that's Rafa Ramos on the right-hand side for Orlando, Jovan Jones on the left for Chicago.
A little more life from the visitors now, in possession. Zadi Elton knocking it away for Polster. Kocic trying to go over the top for Jason Johnson. Well-paced pass. Maloney making a run into the area. Johnson clips it across. Looking to pick up the pieces there. Harry Shipp, but safely away by Aguita. Ramos. As Kaká drawing the whistle as he crumples down to the field. Sprouting up is Eric Gehrig. Harry Shipp and Sean Maloney. As Hagita there responds with a foul of his own there. A lot of room for Matt Polster. Good quick movement by Matt Polster allows the Fire to maintain control. An active opening half for Harry Shipp. Sean Maloney. There's Jovan Jones testing and probing. Returning to Maloney. Jovan Jones, he just changes this team, having him back on the field. Room for Gehrig. Surging forward, here's Matt Polster. Bowden knocks down that cross. As Maloney, thinking there of Patrick Nyako, but solved by Orlando City. And they get the call in their direction as Larin is put down. The early goal from Patrick Nyako has the Fire out in front, 1-0. This is Jovan Jones on the turn. Frank Yallop says about Jason Johnson, he's going to be suspended Saturday, so he can just let him run as much as he wants. It's Maloney. Gave thought to it. Now the cross coming out of range for Jason Johnson.
And yeah, the semi-final is away from home in Philadelphia, but I think both these teams would fancy their chances. A trip to PPL Park, certainly over a trip to New York, I think. But fair play to Philadelphia last night. Connor Casey got sent off in the first half and the team battled hard, taking the match all the way to penalty kicks. And you never would have expected Bradley Roy Phillips, Lloyd Sam as well, to miss from there. Obviously not the first penalty Bradley Roy Phillips has missed this season, but congratulations to Philadelphia. Last night, Sporting Kansas City as well. Benny Failharbour, Christian Nemeth. Brilliant performances. They advanced to play Real Salt Lake.
Oh, Nyako steals it from Bowden. Floats it across goal. Will be a corner opportunity for Sean Maloney. And the Fire here in minute number 24. Drifted in by Maloney. Gehrig was nearest. Second ball available. Dropping down, Nyako to Kochish. Curled wide of the goal. Again, Patrick Nyako creating things. Jones loses to Agita. Sarin goes for a little stroll. Spots Bowden down the left side. Polster there to meet him.
And I think that's the key for Luke Bowden. When he gets forward like that, show him inside, because he loves to whip in that ball with the left boot. And he has already done that in this match. Show him inside, crowd out the space, and nick possession.
That's Kevin Egan. I'm Dan Kelly. It's always a pleasure and honor to have you along for tonight's U.S. Open Cup quarterfinal match. Nyako and the Fire have the early advantage. Kaká's back heel. Maloney. Watson goes to ground. Jason Johnson all of a sudden picks his head up and sees he's got a lot of room. Nyako making a run also. Jason Johnson slowed up by Heath St. Ledger. Razvan Kochish, the fake, Maloney the take, and he blasts it over the bar, but the chance is still coming for the Chicago Fire.
I thought Sean Maloney maybe could have taken a touch there, just a quick one, but wonderful pace from Jason Johnson. And I think he did the right thing. He just flirted with maybe taking that shot on his left foot, didn't fancy it, brought it back into play for Kochish, who fed Sean Maloney.
Already the 8th try on goal for the Fire. As Maloney was ready to take off, but stopped by the whistle.
And here's that effort once more from Sean Maloney. Just watch, he takes it on first time. Under a little bit of pressure. Sean Maloney, while out, interesting, looking at a stat like on WhoScored.com, Sean Maloney first in Major League Soccer in key passes in matches. And like I said earlier, it's something that often goes unnoticed in games, when a pass can open up a defense and then it's a maybe secondary or third assist when a team scores a goal. But Sean Maloney can be very effective finding that space. In situations like this, he's always looking around them to see where exactly Orlando is. Can he find that little bit of space centrally?
Oh, Kevin, you've become so American now. Spouting out some stats with soccer. Look what this country's done to you. Here's Jason Johnson. Watson sees Jones is available by his lonesome, but closed down there. Ramos there to block it. Kochish thinking Sean Maloney there. What have you thought of Sean Maloney so far tonight?
Good. I mean, he's edging his way back into it. A couple of bobbles, a couple of poor efforts, but apart from that, I think he's done quite well. His fitness levels look really good for a player that hasn't featured since that late winner, extra time winner against Louisville. He went off with the back injury, some bulging discs, but he's kept his fitness up. It's a difficult injury because he can't do a whole lot during that time frame. You can't really be moving the back around too much.
Flag is up. Gives us a chance to remind you, if you have a child 14 years old or younger, enroll them in the Junior Supporters Club. Choose to sign up for the free membership or premium membership for just $30 per child. The premium membership includes a Fire t-shirt, scarf, and backpack. For more information and a list of membership benefits, visit chicago-fire.com. The Romanian Razvan Kochish sporting the captain's armband. And Harry Shipp is down for the Fire. Bowden making the pivot. Ribeiro in pursuit is Watson. Polster also joins. As Watson is able to regather it in.
Well played, Matt Watson. It's the one thing about his game, you can say he's just got such great honesty in his efforts. Leaves it all out there. Back helping out a rookie in Matt Polster who's not used to playing in that position. Won't leave him isolated. Very well played.
Jason Johnson draws the call here as we approach the half-hour mark in Bridgeview, Illinois. The rookie Matt Polster. Patrick Nyako trying to fight through some tackles. Laren only had it for a moment. Jovan Jones opened up a lot of eyes in the soccer world with his play in Gold Cup for TNT. Just had his first full training with the club on Monday. Sean St. Ledger. Maloney helps win it back in the midfield. Patrick Nyako 1v3 looking for options. Too much pressure from Sarin. Avila trying to move around Kochish.
Yeah, surprised the referee didn't give the advantage there. Rafa Ramos was looking for it out wide. Instead,
look at the speed of Nyako. As he gets cut down, but able to get to that before Bowden could accept the pass.
He's really surprised me, Patrick Nyako, and how fast he's gotten used to the physical nature and the pace of Major League Soccer again. Out since what, October, with the cruciate knee ligament.
There was zero rust. He just came back and started producing at a time when his team desperately needs it.
Started producing, took 4 touches. Pass from Mike McGee, back of the net. But his pace looks good, and it's a credit to Adrian Lamb, the fitness coach, for working hard with both Patrick Nyako and Mike McGee. He's had lots of work with someone like David Akam as well, who I'm sure we'll see in the second half.
Here's Sean Maloney. This is Watson. Jason Johnson. Wide to Polster. Taking a deflection on the way to the area. Skipping up for it is Patrick Nyako, but Hagita. The target there, Laren drops for Kaká. Trying to return to Kyle Laren. Instead it's Adi Elton brushing it away. Calmly, Bowden on for Ribeiro. Higuita. They give him plenty of space. The little chip. Ribeiro stashed out wide. Ramos the cross coming.
And that's where Harry Shipp needs to be so careful with his defensive duties. Obviously playing inside if he's in behind the striker. You don't have to watch a fullback like that all game long. I've mentioned Ramos enough in this match to know that he's someone who just absolutely loves to get forward at every opportunity. Big job for Harry Shipp defensively.
Second corner for Orlando in this half, and there's John Bush. A Section 8 favorite, able to bring it down. Chance of We Love Bush coming from Section 8. Tap back by Luke Bowden. Pressing forward a bit, Harry Shipp. Looking for Kyle Laren. As Jovan Jones is brought down to the ground.
You're looking at two players right now in contention for Rookie of the Year with Kyle Laren and Matt Polster. And yes, we work for the Chicago Fire, but Matt Polster, is there someone else realistically who you would put alongside Polster right now, or would you give Polster the clear lead in that race? I, for one, looking at a guy who steps in at right back, does anything the coach wants him to do in that sense, has played at centre back, right back, and centre midfield.
And there's no Arne Friedrich next to him.
Well, yeah, if you're referring to our Austin Berry, he did have a helping hand in having Arne Friedrich, of course.
Shipp is pushed down. Higuita whistled for the foul. Reminder, Fire fans, show your Fire pride by donning the latest Chicago Fire apparel. For a wide selection of t-shirts, scarves, hats, jerseys, and much more, visit shopchicagofire.com or the Fire Fan Shop located at Toyota Park. Home supporters having fun here. Later stages of the opening half. Free kick. Jovan Jones gives it a lash with the left foot. Doesn't get through the wall. Quickly trying to counter Orlando City. Leading the brigade is Sarin. Here's Avila. Gets wide on Maloney. Kaká. Recovered by Jovan Jones. Calmly pushed on by Kochish.
They can be lightning fast, Orlando. In transition, they win the ball back. The likes of Avila, Laren, Kaká, all trying to get forward as quick as possible. And that's where the role of Razvan Kochish came in once more. I like the idea of letting Jovan Jones rip from distance there. Give him a go. It's too far out for Sean Maloney with his technique.
Scored his first goal for his country. Harry Shipp, the steal at midfield. Maloney spots Nyako down the near side. Nyako looking for an opening. And underneath it, and that theme continues. The chances piling up for the Fire, but just not hitting the goal.
I thought the pass was on a little bit earlier. Patrick Nyako just to loft it across to Jason Johnson, who created some space for himself. Section 8, loud and proud tonight. Hopefully it's coming through on the stream, but making big time noise here in Toyota Park.
So far they've been rewarded by an early Nyako goal. Jovan Jones sends it by everyone. There's a look at Section 8. into the 39th minute. The pressure coming from Maloney.
And well done. Just harassing the defender. Wonderful work rate from Sean Maloney and Patrick Nyako alike.
Quickly tossed in by Polster. Here's Matt Watson. Jones will take it, watched by Ramos on the outside. As Watson was...
Just in those instances, Adi Elton can get so flat-footed. You just want him to have the ability just to turn, play it back to the goalkeeper if need be. Instead, obviously, picking the safe option to put it out of play. It's just stark contrast to someone like a Bakary Soumari from last season who would have no problem trying to take someone on and take it out of the back four. Adi Elton plays it very basic.
The well-traveled Baki Samari. Now he's in Dallas, isn't he?
Yeah.
Not a lot of touches here in the opening half for Eric Gehrig. Able to get the pass through to Nyako. But Ribeiro the other way for Orlando City. Cochiche is on Ribeiro. Knifes it out. Corner chance coming for the visitors.
And the fans applaud the effort. Once more, Razvan Cochiche wearing the captain's armband tonight. And a credit to him.
The captain watches on. Third corner of this opening half for Orlando City. Drifted in, back post, punched away angrily by John Bush. Back into the area, and there's Bush to claim it once again.
It was a disappointing goal the Fire conceded against Orlando. The first one, an OG off Adi Elton. The ball came all the way across. I think it was Polster and Lavelle Palmer, both on Sean St. Ledger, who won the header. And it's nice to see in this instance, defensively the Fire have looked stronger. They're winning the first ball. John Bush in goal has had plenty of authority.
St. Ledger keeps it on the grass.
If this score continues the way it is right now, this should suit the Fire, as in the second half the game is going to get more stretched. You're going to see Orlando try and put more players in forward positions. And if introduced, David Akam and Kennedy Igboananike will relish that opportunity to use their pace. The Fire must go on and show that little bit of a ruthless streak and get that second goal.
Maloney down to Ship. Creeping closer to goal, Harry Ship. The cross is knocked down by Ramos. And away comes Orlando City. Cochiche preventing Kaká from getting onto that. A few ropey performances recently by the Chicago Fire, but despite the losing, that's when Razvan Cochiche has been playing some of his best soccer this season. Polster takes the initiative, blows by Bowden. Here comes Patrick Nyako. And the whistle stays silent as Nyako's been brought to ground a few times in this opening half.
Yeah, and what I loved about that with Matt Polster was he could have easily gone down under the first challenge. Didn't do so. Stayed on his feet and created an opportunity.
Going back forward is Bowden. Here in the 43rd minute. Solid first half from Matt Polster at the right back position. Still some work to be done here in the late minutes of this opening half. Kaká has been around the ball a little more here. St. Ledger. Hagita. Avila winding his way in. Hagita.
Just have to be careful from a Fire standpoint. They stay in their feet, don't give away any costly fouls. Orlando this season very good in those areas centrally, and that's why it's impressive to see Watson and Cochise cover so much ground. Nyako, Ship tucking inside, and Sean Maloney dropping deep as well to help them out. This season Orlando with an 83% pass completion rate and also an average on games of 53%, so edging the majority of their opponents this season.
Avila for Kaká. Maloney gets a piece of him. Bowden out wide, the cross helps earn the fourth corner opportunity for the visitors. Kaká readies. Watching the near post, Matt Watson helping out John Bush.
And that's inches. We'll get a chance to take a look at that once more.
And now a free kick for Orlando City.
But that's straight from a corner kick. That's too easy. I think it was Watson who got that touch.
Launched in, rising up for it. John Bush as Sean St. Ledger was over his shoulder.
Here's a chance. No, we'll get a chance hopefully to see that corner one more time.
Jason Johnson helps get a late free kick.
You look for Adi Elton to be a little bit more dangerous in these areas. Scored the goal against Philadelphia, the match winner earlier in the season. And since then hasn't really had too many opportunities. Otherwise the Fire not the biggest team out there.
Cracked in by Maloney, streaking in was Razvan Kochis. Second ball comes down, but a foul in the area. This will come out. Sarin was pushed down. So the 3rd minute goal by Patrick Nyako. So far the difference, the whistle sounds to end the first half. Orlando City got better as the half went along, but that quick strike from Patrick Nyako, the difference so far.
Well taken goal. Bright start, came out of nothing really. It was a John Bush clearance that came all the way through. Static, sloppy defending from Orlando. Sean St. Ledger, Seb Hines, the ball comes through to Patrick Nyako, who tucks it home. I think it's been quite an even game otherwise. Orlando can look threatening. They hit the crossbar from a corner. We'll check out the highlights a little bit later here at halftime. But Chicago Fire in a position now where maybe you can introduce Kennedy Bonanike and David Akam.
And there's King David congratulating Patrick Nyako and the Chicago Fire after a solid first 45 minutes. We'll take a brief break here at Toyota Park in a couple of minutes. But Kevin, looking ahead to the second half, what do the Fire have to do to complete this match and get the victory and move on to the semis?
I thought the first 10 minutes, the tempo was very good. They need to start with that once more. I'll continue to say so, just about ruthlessness and tempo, because once they get Jovan Jones forward, and I thought in the first half, early on, he was very effective at getting forward. Orlando will try and put a stop to that. Maybe Rafa Ramos checks his run a little bit and decides not to go, but the Fire need to get in dangerous areas. Sean Maloney, Jason Johnson try and connect a little bit more. But otherwise, the game is there to be won. This is a good Orlando team. Yes, they've been beaten the last 2 matches in Major League Soccer. So have Chicago. a chance at a semi-final spot in the US Open Cup up for grabs. Go out and get it.
That's Kevin Egan. I'm Dan Kelly. We'll take a brief break. Thanks for watching and listening for the first half of play. We'll join you a little later on during halftime, and of course second half action here, quarterfinal between the Chicago Fire and Orlando City.
Stoichkov, and it rolls in. How's it going? We're at Brown Elementary School right now in the West Loop, hanging out with some elementary school kids, doing a little cooking class. Gotta admit, some of the students here are probably better cooks than I am, so their skills in the kitchen are impressive, so they've been teaching me some things as well. We're making some Ethiopian food today, so not something I have a whole lot of experience with, but the kids have been, probably better than I could ever be at this age. So it's, the students have been, really enthusiastic about it and eager to learn about the different, culture of Ethiopia, the different, components of the dish. And you're not really forcing them to do stuff. They're all volunteering to cut things and help out. So it's been really easy to work with them.
it going? We're at Brown Elementary School right now in the West Loop, hanging out with some elementary school kids, doing a little cooking class. Gotta admit, some of the students here are probably better cooks than I am, so their skills in the kitchen are impressive, so they've been teaching me some things as well.
We're making some Ethiopian food today, so not something I have a whole lot of experience with, but the kids have been probably better than I could ever be at this age. So it's the students have been really enthusiastic about it and eager to learn about the different culture of Ethiopia, the different components of the dish. And you're not really forcing them to do stuff. They're all volunteering to cut things and help out. So it's been really easy to work with them.
Welcome back at halftime. Quarterfinal action. Lamar Hunt, U.S. Open Cup, the Chicago Fire, thanks to a third-minute goal from Patrick Nyako on top of Orlando City. 1-0, David Akam. The Chicago Fire back out on the field warming up. With this lead, both teams playing strong lineups despite congested schedules. Do you think you'll see many quick changes?
Yeah, I think if you're Frank Yallop, you want to kill this game off as soon as possible, and you bring in David Akam, depending on how that hamstring is. Now, as I look around the pitch of the players warming up, he is the one player that is not warming up, meaning that you would assume that David Akam is about to come into the match. I would expect it to be for Harry Shipp. Maybe Frank Yallop decides to put Harry Shipp into Sean Maloney's position and take Maloney off, given that it's his first bit of action since the game against Louisville. But I think certainly bringing David Akam will give that spark to Chicago, a team that realistically thrives with pace. When you looked at the team that played here at home against Columbus, Mikey Stevens and Harry Shipp on either flank, Mike McGee and behind in the hole, the pace wasn't there, and Columbus knew that, and it invited them to get forward an awful lot. Whereas you bring in Jovan Jones, you bring in David Akam, Patrick Nyako, it's a different ballgame.
We go back and we look at the opening half highlights. Patrick Nyako was in the midst of a lot of good things for the Fire.
He was, he always is. So difficult to read which way Patrick Nyako is going to go, and here's the goal. From a kick out, believe it or not. Bush kicks it out. The ball comes all the way through, and Paddy Nyako, that's a quality finish. As the ball bounces, just hits it on the half volley. First time, St. Ledger and Hines will be really disappointed in themselves, particularly St. Ledger in that position. And this was a positive first 30 minutes for the Fire. Harry Shipp with an effort. Patrick Nyako, this is the chance where, or the situation, watch the studs. And I think Bowden could have avoided that. Shipp with a wonderful effort from distance, not too far away. What impressed me here is he didn't even look up really. Head down, had a go. And at this stage of the game, it was all Chicago. This was Jovan Jones belting through. Sean Maloney with the effort then. Relatively easy save. Tap over from Tally Hall. That's your vintage Sean Maloney technique. And then Orlando. It was Ramos with the cross. It was Ribeiro got the header, but Adi Elton got a touch. And this from the corner kick. John Bush was very well just to shield it and keep it out of play. There's Patrick Nyako, who for years was the most foul player in Major League Soccer. We might see that one opportunity then for Orlando from the corner. This was the chance from distance. Jovan Jones. Harry Shipp was brought down. It was Jones that had a crack. And then laid on Patrick Miyako.
So the accuracy needs to improve from the Fire from that first half because the chances kept occurring.
Yeah, just good play there from Saren, throwing his body on the line for his team. Orlando will feel this game is very much within their grasp. Just one goal in it. They scored two goals, I should say, in the second half the last time they played here at Toyota Park. They've got threats. But what they do love to do is possess the ball centrally, get the fullbacks forward. But the Chicago Fire has done a nice job in midfield areas. Razvan Kocic in particular, Matt Watson as well, of crowding out the middle, not giving Kaká time on the ball. Yes, he's older in his career, but an incredibly talented footballer. Scored 9 goals in Major League Soccer so far this season.
He's a big game player and a lot at stake here in the second half. So number 10 will probably be a handful as both teams back out onto the field, ready to start this second half. Jovan Jones. Did he look like a guy that's played 4 matches in the last 11 days?
No, not really. Not really. Tearing forward early. He's an outlet for the Fire. But I think defensively what Frank Yallop likes is it keeps him in check a little bit. He can't go tearing forward and forget about his defensive duties. He's got to keep an eye on his defensive duties, which he does at that fullback position. But when he can get forward, he's lethal.
Speaking of duty, we didn't mention Patrick Duty, not in the starting 11 tonight. He's cup tied, playing with St. Louis FC. And Sean Maloney, Frank Yallop saying with his injury, it's just a question of how long his fitness will get him through this evening. But great stuff from Razvan Kocic in the first half, and off we go here in the second from Bridgeview, Illinois and Toyota Park. The visitors from Orlando wearing the white shirts. Hoisted in by Jones. The intervention from Avila, sneaking away is Saren.
It was interesting not to see David Akam kicking the ball with his fellow subs at halftime. I wonder, is that a substitution we'll see early in the second half? I thought we may have seen it from the start.
Good recovery and clearance by Matt Polster. First touch of the second half for Kaká. Nudges it over to Ramos. Returning to Kaká. Trying to make the turn was Laren. Little chip by Ribeiro. Polster dislodges it for Kocic as Johnson couldn't bring it down. Zadi Elton knocks it over to Harry Shipp. Pretty dependable game in the midfield from Matt Watson. Kocic sees Polster available. Surging forward, Matt Polster, the cross coming. Helps earn a corner in the process.
Yeah, tasty, inviting ball from Matt Polster. After some tidy play centrally from Harry Shipp and Sean Maloney. I say the word tidy. Sean Maloney's a tidy footballer, someone who doesn't give the football away. In top 15 players in Major League Soccer. In passing percentage, 87%.
Ripped in by Maloney. Hines gets to it first for Orlando City. Handled there by Kocic. Protecting things at the back, Eric Gehrig. keeps an eye on Kyle Laren. With Kevin Egan, I'm Dan Kelly. It's great to have you with us in this Wednesday night quarterfinal action. Jason Johnson drops it off for Harry Shipp, making a run. Look at Polster go. Navigates it towards the goal. Ends up being a simple stop for Tally Hall.
I talked about a tasty pass moments ago from Polster. How about that from Harry Shipp? On the money for Matt Polster, who was venturing forward.
Things opening up a little bit. This is Ramos. Here against Jones. Ramos gets it back. Back post turned in. Kaká off target.
You expect better from Kaká in that instance. Here's the chance for Polster. Really difficult from that angle. And he's running at full throttle too. He just impresses, no matter where you put him. You put Matt Polster up front, he'll do a job. I've mentioned his attitude already, but his ability is fantastic. It was a good spot. A lot of questions around the time the Fire picked him up 7th in the draft. You get the typical responses of who. And it is a gamble at times, and it's worked out because he's someone who's didn't play too far away, SIU Edwardsville, and is loving life so far in Chicago.
If you're versatile and have the ability to play a lot of different positions, it's tough to keep you off the field. That's been the case for Polster. Ramos, Kaká, bumped off the ball by Matt Watson.
It was brilliant play from Rafa Ramos. I do honestly believe that Jovan Jones and Ramos, two of the most exciting fullbacks in MLS.
Other games as trouble clearing it. Ribeiro, dangerous cross. Bush is there. But right by him was Avila, waiting for any spillage. Wearing the captain's armband, Razvan Kocic. Johnson pushed down by Hines. They play on. The immediate pressure there from Matt Polster. Higuita forced by Shipp. Sneaks away from the coverage, but there is Matt Polster. And this time Johnson gets the call on Hines.
And out of your picture, the two players warming up for Chicago, David Akam, Kennedy Igbonanike. Like we mentioned, as the game gets stretched, they could see opportunities. David Akam was brilliant. His performance exhilarating against Orlando at home. His goal fantastic, but defensively I felt late on. He found himself too far forward. And on the right hand side of the pitch, Orlando started to enjoy some success. If he comes on and he's played on the left hand side in place of Harry Shipp, just needs to watch that defensive duty.
Jason Johnson a little frustrated. As Orlando City hasn't given Johnson any time on the ball. This is Ramos.
If you look towards New England, you're Frank Yallop, you're looking ahead towards Saturday. You're starting to see your team return. You're not making excuses. Players need to step in and have a winning mentality. Players that, yeah, you have Patrick Doody coming in making his first MLS appearance. They need to come in and have a mentality that they're going to go on and try and win matches. But when you're Frank Yallop, you see the likes of Jeff Laurentowicz now, who could be available for Saturday. Sean Maloney returning, David Akam returning, Patrick Miyako, Mike McGee may be available for Saturday too.
Maloney picks his head up. See, he's got some room and some options. Here's Jason Johnson. Watched by Hines. And scalpeled away by Hines. Showing some composure on the ball, Sarin. Avila. Sarin once again.
You can see on the near side, Rafa Ramos furious that he didn't get played the ball earlier. He seemed to have caught out Jones and Harry Shipp.
Watson steals but turns it over to Sarin. Here comes Kaká. Gives it away. Back to the roundabout for a moment for Sean Maloney. Maloney loses it. Ribeiro in Orlando City, surging forward the cross, coming in, bounding towards John Bush, and he calms the situation down.
If in doubt, deal with it. It was a poor pass. Matt Polster played the ball, the simple ball to Sean Maloney, but Sean Maloney had 3 men around him. You want to see your team playing attractive passing game, but at moments in dangerous areas, just deal with it.
Flag coming up on Kyle Larin. Avila in Orlando City, unable to keep possession. Fighting is Nyako.
I'm shocked the referee didn't see the hands of Luke Bowden all over the back and neck of Patrick Nyako. Just let that one slide.
Edvin Jurasevich in charge of the proceedings. Here comes Ramos. In pursuit is Shipp. Ramos down to Avila, curling that cross in Orlando City has leveled the match here early in the second half. It's Kyle Larin.
Quality attack down the right hand side. Ramos, lovely little dink from Avila. John Bush couldn't get there, and between Polster and Gehrig is Kyle Larin to equalise the match with the easiest of headers.
You could kind of feel that one coming. Patrick Nyako. Jason Johnson out wide to Matt Polster. Now it's Kochish. Strolls in for a closer look, returning to Polster. Sean Maloney, he and Shipp a little back and forth. It's Jovan Jones. His cross deflecting to the middle. Hunting for it there is Maloney. With a little help from Shipp, gets it. Nyako. Polster, Harry Shipp. Didn't have much time to direct that on frame.
The Chicago Fire, Frank Yallop. Level, 57th minute. It's like a game of chess. He's about to play first, make his first move. And it's David Akam gearing up, ready to go. You'll see him in just a couple of moments.
So Orlando City, their first shot on target off of Kyle Larin. And it's good for a goal in the equalizer here now in the 58th minute of this quarterfinal action of the U.S. Open Cup. Here comes Jovan Jones. Chasing him is Avila, dropping to Shipp. Maloney dancing in the area. Maloney trying to get that cross through to Johnson. Cooley brought down by Jones. Harry Shipp Out wide, Polster has to wait for it. Cochish to Jason Johnson. He was a little surprised by Sarin being right there and helps wrestle back possession for Orlando City. Kyle Laren now just floating with confidence after that recent strike. Gets the call in his direction.
Yeah, you're spot on, Dan. It was a beautiful little touch from Kyle Laren. Easy decision for the referee, Razvan Kochish, bringing him down as we see Patrick Nyapko make way for David Akam.
See if King David can change things.
And instantly Harry Shipp moves across to the right-hand side of midfield. And I think we'll see what happens here. David Akam may move up front, and Jason Johnson has. He's moved across to the left-hand side of midfield, and I actually think that's a really good decision from Frank Yallop. David Akam loves to throw himself about, comes in full of energy. And they switch it out. So it is Akam playing on the left-hand side. And we will see that matchup that I spoke about between Rafa Ramos and David Akam.
So Akam in for Nyako. Good save by Watson. Matt Watson. Jason Johnson tangled up at his boots and couldn't get the shot away, and then he was closed down by Hines.
I thought it was a great ball from Matt Watson. Johnson needs to hit that first time.
Will be the 6th corner of the evening for the Chicago Fire. Maloney readies to drive it in.
Remember the set play goal they scored against Orlando here with Igboananike at the end of it.
Gehrig and Cochish rising up. Will be a goal kick for Tally Hall.
In terms of the aerial battle, Chicago, really are a smaller team when you look at as that ball is being delivered. So anytime you can try and work a practice ground set play like the one Kennedy Igboananike scored involving Shipp and David Akam, you should try it.
Striding onto it. Laren, that initial heavy first touch, and he couldn't save it. Just past the hour mark, Bridgeview, Illinois, Toyota Park. This is how the goal scoring started this evening in the 3rd minute off of a goal kick. It was Bush connecting to Nyako. Gehrig gets a foot to it. Matt Watson looking very confident here in the second half. Softly down for David Akam. Akam meandering his way from distance. Second ball. Johnson with the chance, but again it's David Akam, dangerous.
Quality play from David Akam. You always get the feeling he's coming back onto that right foot. And that's exactly what he did. It's a good save from Tally Hall, but the reaction from number 4 for Orlando, Sean St. Ledger, was brilliant. 2 Chicago Fire players in the area, nearly getting on the end of the rebound.
Low service by Maloney. Knocked down by Gehrig. Returning to Sean Maloney there on Kaká. Gets some space. And couldn't keep it in play.
Maloney looked up, looked for his options, didn't see them, but he has to get that off quicker. Did so well to just drift past Kaká. This is a match now, isn't it? 1-1, about 30 minutes to play. Chance for a semi-final spot against Philadelphia. Could be anyone's game now.
Game on now in the 64th minute. Hagita. Here's Kaká. 9 goals on the year. Kaká leaves for Sarin and drives it well wide of the goal here in the 64th minute. Well, there's no easier way to get to a Chicago Fire home match than the Pub to Pitch program presented by Heineken. Start your match day at one of 7 pubs across the city and hop on a round-trip bus to and from the stadium. Visit pubtopitch.com to reserve your seats for the Fire's next home match, July 25th versus the New England Revolution. As New England recently ended a losing streak.
And that's poor from Eric Gehrig. The pass wasn't on. The simple ball out to Razvan Kocic on his right-hand side was the easy pass to give.
Turning back for that is Luke Bowden. The call goes Orlando's way. Here comes Matt Polster. Harry Shipp thinking David Accam there, but emerging with the ball is Ramos for Orlando City. Here's Avila. Sarin gets it by Shipp. Bowden intended for Kaká, read beautifully there by Gehrig, but picking up the pieces is Avila. The shot, he can't get it through. Threat still coming from the visitors. Popped away by Matt Watson. And Kocic is pushed down.
Kocic does well to end that sequence, but the Fire need to show a lot more conviction in the back line. Too many players are hesitant, waiting for someone else to clear it. Harry Shipp in a 50-50 battle cannot come out on the losing end in a dangerous area. And now we see the substitution. Kennedy Bonanique for Sean Maloney.
A lot of speed on the field for Frank Yallop. Kaká finds it in the midfield. Jones with Avila on top of him.
Jones knew exactly what he was doing there. The pass back to John Bush wasn't really on. The pass inside wasn't on, and just felt the contact from Avila and went down. Foul on Matt Polster. But Kennedy Bonanique, he'll feel he has a point to prove in this one. Taken off in a recent match against Columbus, you could clearly see as he was taken off, he was not happy. Time to prove himself.
This is Kaká. Leads the charge the other way. The Brazilian finds Hagita. Challenged by Eric Gehrig. And it's Polster. Tapping it away for Razvan Kocic. And the whistle sounding more frequently here. Just over 20 minutes to go. Who wants to move on to the semifinals? We're all level at 1. David Accam off the bench. Accam into the area. And a corner upcoming as it deflects into Section 8.
This time decides to go on the left-hand side and take on Rafa Ramos. A good decision And that's when you need your strikers predicting that run from David Akam, making that run across the 6. Just brings so much excitement, so much energy to this Chicago Fire team.
He electrifies. 8th corner of the night for the Fire. Back post, Igboananike. A swing and a miss.
I think that's what you call an air ball. If it was on a court, there might be some chance. That's a big time opportunity for Kennedy Igboananike. It's always a difficult one to hit it first time, but you'd expect him to hit the target. A player that could really do with a goal just to give him that confidence.
Had a pretty good spell for about 3 or 4 weeks, but that's what's been lacking recently. The confidence from Kennedy Igboananike.
What we've seen from David Akam is over the past few games, as he has a few more words just out of your picture with Rafa Ramos, those two really going at it. But what you've seen from Akam is he's well able to take a ball from a set play, whether it be a corner or a free kick. Scored against Columbus. But they're getting chippy, Ramos and Akam.
He's a little feisty tonight. David Akam maneuvers the pass through to Johnson. Harry Shipp shedding defenders. Harry Shipp still on the ball. Igboananike launching the shot off the bar. Offside flag was up anyway, but Jason Johnson there with the last redirection. Jones will keep it with the Fire. Quietly, Matt Watson has played a pretty good game, number 8 for Chicago. Here's Polster. Just never runs out of energy, the rookie. Shipp, well-timed run. Jason Johnson underneath it as it just wouldn't cooperate for him before he launched that shot.
And his body was leaning back, but not for the first time. We've said that the ball hasn't fallen kindly for a Chicago Fire player because it didn't. But Jason Johnson needs to lean forward and just power through that football.
Into the 71st minute. Igboananike making things interesting.
Yeah, well done, Kennedy Igboananike. Instantly, Tally Hall looks to his defenders and says, hey, give me a shout. Let me know he's coming. That's what you want from your striker. 20 minutes to go, leave it all out there. Maybe more. Saw some frantic extra time action yesterday. New York Red Bulls, Philadelphia Union. And the match between Sporting Kansas City and Houston wasn't too far away from going to extra time either. Late goals, Benny Feilhaber, Christian Namath and Dom Dwyer.
Polster missing the connection with Kennedy Igboananike. Quick decision making by Avila. Sarin pushes it out wide. Gehrig there to again go down to the grass and knock it away. Here's Higuita.
I thought the positioning of Gehrig and Adi Elton was very good on that play. Like once more Orlando attack and the fullbacks are involved.
Ramos tested by Jovan Jones. Little flick to himself now, Ramos. Out by Gehrig. Second crack over the bar. Higuita with the chance. John Bush trying to urge on his teammates.
And I think David Akam should come all the way across here. as close as he can to the sideline. If Chicago win the second ball, switch it.
Johnson sets it up for Harry Shipp.
And in that instance, Chicago win the second ball, and you might have a chance to switch the play as quick as you can, as we see right now.
Watson switches to David Akam. Igboananike making a run. Akam dispossessed by Sarin. Bowden again. Dangerous down the left side. Here comes Kaká. The rip from Higuita's blocked. Igboananike trying to slither loose, coming down with David Akam. Igboananike makes the turn. The deflection off his shin right to Tally Hall.
This game is just frantic right now. Both teams with opportunities inside the last minute.
Both teams pushing thing.
I just noticed how quick Christian Higuita got across to help out Rafa Ramos as soon as the ball was switched to David Akam. The recognition is there that Akam is the threat. Excellent defensive work from the centre midfielder.
Cool little back heel by Akam to spring Jovan Jones. Back towards Akam. Second ball. Kochish gives it a rip. Settled down by Tally Hall.
Yeah, wonderful technique from Razvan Kochish. Nice effort from distance. Looking for his second goal this season.
Well done by Matt Polster. Leads to the counter from Harry Shipp. The switch is on. Matt Watson. Beautiful ball over to Matt Polster. As Kaká in Orlando City. Kyle Larin trying to make the turn.
And Eric Gehrig did well. Didn't let Larin turn him. Stayed nice and close to the Canadian. But it's in those instances that Frank Yallop's team cannot afford to get caught in transition.
Polster sneaking by, does the work, and draws the foul on Luke Bowden.
You saw a goal from the opposite side, a similar distance, Jeff Laurentowicz earlier in the season against Toronto. I think from this distance, it might be worth rolling it to Jovan Jones. He's nowhere near the ball, it's not going to happen. But Jovan Jones had a decent effort earlier, it was blocked. He's got a good shot on him.
Shipp punched away by Hall. Razvan Kochish again into the area. Clearance from Orlando City. Watson brushes to Razvan Kochish. Igboananike also racing on to it was Matt Polster. Just out of range.
And Adrian Heath will be furious with the pressure on the ball. The pass went back to Razvan Kochish. No pressure from an Orlando player. Gave Razvan Kochish all the time in the world to pick his pass. Nearly fell through to Matt Polster.
Watson steals. Igboananike looking for help. Over for Harry Shipp. Missing everyone there with that cross. So we march on into the 78th minute. Extra time looming. If no one can find the goal here late.
The Chicago Fire looking to keep that proud tradition. Never lost in a US Open Cup quarterfinal.
Fire fans, have your say on who you think should be today's Fire Man of the Match Open up the Chicago Fire mobile app to cast your vote by the 90th minute and stay tuned after the final whistle to find out today's winner. Download the new version of the app now on the Apple Store and on Google Play. Jason Johnson, Matt Watson, here's Jovan Jones.
Jovan Jones being a little bit cautious. Doesn't want to get caught out defensively in these areas, but I'd look for him to be more aggressive. Go 1v1. He's often isolated with Avila, and I think he has the pace to beat him.
Will be an Orlando throw off of Matt Polster. Safely away by Bowden. Kochish and Polster out of the dust, emerging with it. And Jason Johnson losing it. Kaká there, the elbow from Kyle Laren is a little high.
And the Fire bench is furious. Every single one of them. Clint Mathis, Mark Burcham, Frank Yallop, all up off their feet. I think they felt there was an elbow.
Certainly looked a little high. There's Clint Mathis. You don't see him get that fired up that often.
It's a yellow card for Kyle Laren. I'd like to see that again if we can. Difficult to see exactly from our viewpoint and the viewer at home. It was the trailing leg, I think. It was the right leg that Laren could have moved and didn't.
Here's Ramos. Bothered by the presence of David Accam.
And the Fire need to take that bit of frustration in their belly and use it. And remember late on, remember the match against Orlando. That should have been won here at Toyota Park, and there's the advantage not played. The referee had blown the whistle already.
Off the quick restart, they find David Accam. Accam trying to make that darting run, but everyone was ready for it, including Tally Hall, who left his line. Well done, Jovan Jones. A frustrated Rafael Ramos looks on. Kaká. Kochish. Steals it back. Jovan Jones. Iguananike lays it off for David Accam. David Accam jabs it wide with his best chance in this game.
And he saved the silky skills for that move. Incredible footwork from David Accam. Gave him that opportunity to go 1v1. Just watch the footwork here, so fast, so clinical. Brilliant footwork from Accam, and just sort of fluffs his lines. Laid on, looks for the toe poke, doesn't connect. Glorious chance in the 82nd minute for David Accam.
So Akugo comes on for Ribeiro. Or scratch that. Of course, Akugo was part of that Monday trade. David Akam quickly closed down. And Razvan Kocic not very happy.
Carrasco comes into the game.
The 26-year-old. So he can pretty much play anywhere in Adrian Heath's system.
And I think these are areas, if you look at David Akam, needs to work harder. You know how fast he can sprint, has to do it on the defensive end as well.
Away by Jason Johnson, and then he was fouled here. 84th minute remains, 1-1 Chicago Fire in Orlando City. Laren leveled the match in the 56th minute. Nervy times here late. Who wants to go on and play in the semifinals of the U.S. Open Cup? Composure there from Laren. Carrasco. Kaká. Flag comes up. Bush floats it into the sky. Keeper to keeper. Tally Hall's had a pretty good evening. Kaká has some runners going forward. Lays it out wide for Bowden. Tracking back, Razvan Kocic, the takeaway. Carrasco will find it for Orlando City. Avila. Ramos. Hadi Elton punches it away. But the visitors still behind the ball here in the late minutes.
And the defense is working so hard for the Fire, central areas as well. If you're a Fire player, you want to see Jason Johnson and Kennedy Bonanike just leaving it out there. Have to work so hard. Cut out the supply in central areas. Force them wide. An intelligent press.
Watson starts this attack. Here comes David Akam with Igboananike. Akam off the post. Igboananike. Chicago Fire late strike. It's Kennedy, and he's flipping out.
You bring in pace, and it'll hurt you. David Akam, blistering pace on the left-hand side. Gets the shot off, very unlucky, quality effort. The inside post, right place, the right time, the man that needed a goal. And as you said, goes flipping out in front of Section 8. And sometimes it just falls for you. And right here, Igboananike couldn't have asked for a better place for the ball to fall. Onto his right foot, the favoured right foot, and he passes the ball into an empty net. But credit to Chicago Fire, defensively got it right, got the ball to David Akam as soon as possible. The Ghanaian broke, the ball falls to the Nigerian. Chicago Fire 2-1 up now, with approximately 5 minutes to play.
Goal, Chicago Fire in
The supporters deserve it. Still some work to be done. Bowden coming the other way for Orlando City. Will be a corner. Kaká makes the trot over. Trying to advance to play Philadelphia in the semifinals. Punched away by John Bush.
That's a big paw. Big strong hand from Bush. And that's a scissors tackle from Igboananike. He didn't need to do it. Just got to show him to the line. And clearly see that Darwin Seren is going nowhere.
Perhaps his excitement swelling a little bit. See, ends a dry spell and scores a big goal that will hopefully propel the Chicago Fire over Orlando City, but Seren awaits this free kick.
Yeah, and the Fire about to bring in Mikey Stevens. And you often hear don't make a substitution when you're defending a set play. And I think the Fire tried to block that substitution, but they're making him do it. That's surprising because it looked like Mikey Stevens was telling Jason Johnson to go back. Jason Johnson obviously has more height than Mikey Stevens in areas like this.
Ripped in by Seren. Dropping down, Ramos. Well anticipated by Jovan Jones over the top. Igboananike, goodbye Kennedy Igboananike. Looking for a second, rounds the keeper. Make it 2 for Kennedy Igboananike.
Iggy, Iggy, Iggy. Exciting times at Toyota Park as Kennedy Igboananike has secured the trip to PPL Park in Philadelphia for a US Open Cup semi-final. Clinical finish from Igboananike. And Chicago Fire now look destined to be just one match away from a return to a US Open Cup final.
Composure in the finish.
Looked like maybe a heavy touch right there, but just got there ahead of Tally Hall and tucks it home to secure the victory late on. 2 minutes to go.
So just about under a minute to go in extra time. Confidence is a dangerous thing, and Kennedy Igboananike all of a sudden has it.
Well, pace is a dangerous thing as well. It was lacking from the team at home against Columbus, glaringly obvious. And
why not go for the hat trick? David Accam streaking in. David Accam, but a good recovery by Hines to get back. Tally Hall puts his paws on King David.
King David has to focus now. Forget about the pause at Tally Hall. Just close out the game. Show some discipline defensively. And Frank Yallop will be delighted with the application and the ruthlessness. The word I use all the time with the Chicago Fire. Oftentimes you see them taking the lead, show that ruthlessness in front of goal. And it's Accam and Igboananike that have made the big time difference in the second half for the Chicago Fire.
Harry Shipp turns to Mikey Stevens. Intended for Accam, but solved by the back line of Orlando City. Old friend Jim Curtin in the Philadelphia Union. It looks like the Chicago Fire are coming for you. Next stop, semifinals of the US Open Cup. Still some fight from the visitors. Carrasco. Making the overlap, Ramos. Jovan Jones there out to greet him. He and Matt Watson team up on the seamless clearance. They hear the whistle. Good night, Orlando City. Next stop, semifinals, the Philadelphia Union, thanks to the brace from Kennedy Egbuonanike.
He needed the goals and he got them. The first one fell right to his right boot. The second one he had to do a little bit more work, bearing down on goal, takes it around Tally Hall and tucks it home with a wonderful finish on the left foot. Orlando came, they threatened, they got a goal back, drew level, but the introductions from Frank Yallop, the pace that he brought into the team, made the big difference. And now a chance for the Chicago Fire to turn this season around, start to bring back their key players. Like I said, Jeff Laurentowicz, the captain, not too far away. Sean Maloney seeing some action.
And now some more difficult decisions for their manager, Frank Yallop. Clint Mathis in this coaching staff, Mark Burcham, Aaron Hyde, they have to be enthused by this big victory. They've hit a rough patch recently in MLS play, but we've seen it before. Pivotal wins in US Open Cup play can change a team's season around.
Players change seasons. Application of the players change everything. The desire, the will to win. The talent is there. And I think when you look at the Chicago Fire squad, there's nobody that I've talked to that talks any sense at all that will tell you otherwise. When you look at the talent and the excitement levels that some of these players bring to this squad, if they can show that defensive and offensive ruthlessness, this team can go places. It's about getting those players fit, getting them on the pitch.
As Kennedy Egbuonanike, Patrick Nyako opened up the scoring. Egbuonanike finished it off as David Accam, Mikey Stevens and the men in red make their way over to Section 8 and celebrate with their supporters.
And you can be sure that many of those folks, the brilliant folks in Section 8 that come out and support this team week in, week out, will be on a bus or on a plane headed to Philadelphia to see their Chicago Fire, their men in red, go face Philadelphia Union in the semi-final. A winnable match. The Fire has already beaten Philadelphia this season.
And what a way to finish. It looked like we were going to be here for a while. The match had slowed up, anticipating extra time.
Hey, you put on the pot of coffee, Dan. I never needed it.
But then Kennedy Egbuonanike changed things in a hurry. We talk about Kennedy so much, but the versatile Matt Polster, again, another big match from the rookie.
I think so. You know, when you play him right back, centre midfield, it means something. The guy has heart. He wears the Chicago Fire jersey on his sleeve. He really, really does. He wears it, his heart in his sleeve every single time, and it means so much to him. You saw from the very first moment you looked at him as a Chicago Fire player when he started to cry on the podium when he was selected 7th in the Super Draft. And he's brought emotion every single game, and you want to see that from players representing this fine club. Onwards and upwards, a chance to now go and beat the Union, but most importantly, you look at what the next game is, and that's New England Revolution, a 6-point swing, Eastern Conference battle. The performance wasn't good enough last time at Toyota Park. The weakest performance of the season against Columbus Crew. There were admirable signs in the away performance, particularly in the first half against Columbus. But now a chance to try and pick up 3 points at home and get those key players we've discussed back on the pitch.
The thing that was a little concerning of that home match loss to the Columbus Crew is there wasn't that fight and urgency, but we saw it tonight from Frank Yallop's men.
The team was shell-shocked early on in that Columbus match, and I thought even from when the players came out onto the pitch before kickoff, it didn't look like it. Tonight it was different. The second half was different. The intensity was different. Performances of Razvan Kocic wearing the captain's armband tonight for the Chicago Fire. I thought he was superb once more, and it's something I've been saying an awful lot this season about Razvan Kocic, particularly of late. And it's just so exciting. The fans all on their feet. You can see the tweets coming through about the impact that David Accam, makes in a game like this. Creating the chances. Kennedy Bonanike with the brace. That brings his tally to 4 goals this season. But all in all, a good night at Toyota Park. Good bit of business done. And the team moves on to a semi-final.
Matt Watson, also, you don't know how many chances he's going to get. He started one of those crucial counters late that led to a Fire goal. Really not a bad performance from the whole lot.
No. I think there's areas, obviously, but that's with any team. The Chicago Fire proved tonight that they can create lots of opportunities. They have done so all season long. So
let's go to the video evidence.
Yeah, this was the goal. Vintage Orlando goal. Fullback gets forward, you play the ball through to Avila, and he just takes out the sand wedge, and that's a great goal. Chicago Fire, from their defensive standpoint, will be very disappointed. It's just a perfect pass. Sean Bush couldn't get there, but it's all too easy.
And thoughts start to creep in. Here we go again, because we've seen Orlando City do it, but instead it was the home team.
Yeah, and I don't think Seb Hines in that instance expected David Akam to shoot from there. It was the toe poke effort, comes off the inside of the post, falls perfectly, absolutely perfectly to Igboananike. I mean, this couldn't be any better for Igboananike.
Kissed off the post.
Yeah, just passes it home. Gives us that celebration. And then the icing on the cake for Igboananike late on. Maybe a heavy touch right here. Did it matter? Absolutely not. As he uses the left foot to sneak it past Ramos into the back of the net. And that was the insurance goal. The ruthless goal that the Fire needed to secure their passage now to the semi-final.
And a man that's been feeling pressure and heat because of big expectations and big dollar, that could change the season around for Kennedy Igboananike.
And Dan, there should be pressure. There should be pressure and heat. And players should relish that pressure. And I think he's starting to, and he needs to. He needs to realise he's at a club, he's at a big league now in Major League Soccer. You're seeing all the stars come through, and Kennedy Igboananike should see this as a chance to really cement himself in this Fire team and in this league and score goals and put in the effort week in, week out. Wonderful to see him scoring 2 tonight. I think it'll give him a huge boost ahead of the weekend.
And timing is everything, because this side is going to start to get a lot healthier, and competition to get in amongst that starting group is going to become stiffer. So the Chicago Fire victorious. It wasn't easy. They do their best work late. Kennedy Igboananike, the maligned striker, shines tonight with the late brace. It gives the victory over Orlando City, and the Fire move on. They're going to the semifinals to face old friend Jim Curtin in the Philadelphia Union. Thanks so much for watching tonight's webcast. For my partner, Kevin Egan, our executive producer, Leo Flores, I'm Dan Kelly. Good night and good soccer from U.S. Open Cup play tonight. Chicago Fire win over Orlando City.